What's up, Commanders fans? Bruh, I can't tell you how good it feels to be a Commanders fan when you have a guy like Adam Peters, a guy that has been making all the right moves. He went out and got Deebo Samuel. And we understand that was like a big issue for us last season, even though we had Olamide Zaccheaus and De'Ami Brown who stepped up, and even Jameis Crowder. Like he stepped up in the paint. And even though we had a rusty wide receiver roster, a wide receiver room, we still had guys that came through for us in the clutch. And to have that, to have anything else better than that is great. It's phenomenal. And the fact that we got Deebo out of all wide receivers is great. And think about how good of a player Deebo Samuel is. He can play anywhere. You can put him as a wide receiver. You can put him as a running back. You can put him on special teams and play kickoff. He can do a lot. And, of course, we could say the same for Austin Eckler, but we have a guy that can do a better job at wide receiver, And, of course, Deebo had a down year last season. But I think I think what it is it was time to go. It was time for change. He'd been there for 6 years, and it was a love and hate relationship, and it's time to find somewhere where things are new, things are different, no issues have been brought up, and everybody is just fresh. Everybody's starting off fresh. I think it was time. It was either time for him or Brandon Ayuk, and we ended up getting the guy that we didn't think we would get, but worked out, and we got it for a 5th round pick. And this is not just one of the moves that Adam Peters has done for us since he's been here. We could talk about the free agency that we had last season. We could talk about the draft picks we had last season. We could even talk about Marshawn Lattimore, how he got him. So even how he got Noah Brown. I said Noah Brown. No, is it? Yeah, Noah Brown. Yeah. Even how we got him. Like, we won the draft. We won free agency. So it's just like everything that Adam Peters does is amazing. Like I didn't expect to see the Commanders look like this. Like, we don't look like the Commanders right now. Like we like I don't know what team this is. This is not the Redskin team that I grew up on, where we get players like Darius Slate in his mid 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the Commanders I'm used to. I'm used to the Redskins. Like, where we get players when they already done. We get players in the end of their career, and we don't get nothing out of them. We got Adrian Peterson, when he was already done. He was washed up. He was washed. He wasn't making nothing happen. But, of course, we did have a terrible offensive line. But still, to see this team get to where it is now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so proud of what we have. And we have a great foundation. And for a guy like Deebo Samuel, he is one of the top receivers when it comes to missed tackles. And I seen a stat that said that he has forced 92 missed tackles as a wide receiver. And he has 19 more than any receiver in the league. So I think that's something to be proud of. And then also, I understand he's 29, but, there are a lot of guys that play in their later years and they're still doing phenomenal. And we can talk about DeAndre Hopkins. Of course, he's not, your 1,000-yard receiver anymore, but he's still doing great, and he did great last season. Of course, he missed a few in the clutch moments, but who doesn't? Everybody misses. Even Terry missed a few passes in the playoffs. But I want you to understand that Deebo is a great aspect to our team to have, because he's a weapon. He's considered a weapon overall, because he did a lot with San Fran, and they could plug him and play anywhere. Like, it didn't matter where he played. He was definitely that guy. And you got to think, people worry about injuries and the fact that he plays really rough, and he's always one of those guys that go for the contact instead of going away from the contact. Bruh, you gotta think about it like this. Everybody can get injured. Nobody's safe, no matter how you play. Some players can play rough their whole entire career and still, whatever you mean by rough, you know what I'm saying? Like you could play rough, you could play, real physical, but if you got heart, you're gonna continue to go out there. You're gonna continue to say that you're okay, and you're gonna go out there and play no matter what. So I'm not feeling like that's gonna be a huge issue for us when it comes to him, because I feel like it's a lot of places that we need him to that is really gonna help us, get to where we need to be. And of course, we're paying him $17.5 million this year, but it's one of those situations where we can maneuver, if he doesn't pan out this year. We can just get rid of him. It's not going to hurt us at all. And if it does work out, we can extend him. I could see us going at least 3 years with him, But it's a great move by Adam Peters for a 5th round pick. Come on now. And Debo came in the 2nd round in the same year as Terry, and they both been doing good as wide receivers. And, to be that good of a player, you can always make a comeback. I'm telling you, you can always make a comeback. I've seen wide receivers go from making, 500-yard seasons to 1,000-yard seasons, or 800-yard seasons to 1,000-yard seasons. And a player like that is DeAndre Hopkins, Just because of where you were, it sometimes depend on the team. It sometimes depend on the defenses. If you're doing the same stuff over and over, then teams are going to catch on. And then even if you're switching it up, San Fran missed a lot of players last season. So for them alone, for them to rely on Deebo Samuel, it made him a target. You see what I'm saying? Seeing that Brandon Ayuk was injured. So it made him a target. And a lot of people talk about how he didn't have the same, the same production that he had the year prior. But it happens. It's so many reasons on why your production is not the same. And it could have dealt with, the quarterback not throwing as, short passes as he used to. He's throwing long passes now. So it requires a lot more out of Debo, or it requires a lot more out of Brock Purdy. And, it was perfect timing because, one, Brock is going to get his money, right? It's time for him to get paid. And then they had to get rid of him. They had to get rid of Debo. So it was either Debo or it was either Brandon Ayuk. But they got rid of Debo. And I think more so it had to do with just injuries and the fact that, I think their relationship just wasn't working out anymore. And I think it's perfect for us because, of course, this is perfect timing when you want to invest in your quarterback. You want to invest right now. You want to give as much time needed to your quarterback in every aspect so he can be his great self, And one of the ways we struggled this season was we know cornerback, we know wide receivers. We had basic wide receivers. Everybody under Terry was basic, But, that didn't stop Jaden Daniels from completing passes and getting guys the ball. So that's something, that was the area that we needed to improve on. And come on now. We talking about De'Ami Brown. We talking about Olamide Zaccheaus. We talking about Jamison Crowder. We talk about Luke McCaffrey, bro. He's not even in his prime yet. He's not the tier that we want him at yet. So to bring in Debo is right over top of all of them except Terry. So I would honestly, feel like this is a great move. You can't go wrong. You'll have guys that are really healthy, right? Say for instance, we go out and would have got DK Metcalf, right? Say, for instance, we got him. Okay, he could come into the first game, get injured, and not play the whole entire season. It just happens. It don't matter how physical or how non-physical you are. It happens. So it's like, just be happy. On paper, this is perfect. You know, of course, he hasn't had the great production, but Debo probably needed a different area to work and a different environment, because he already wanted to leave a long time ago. So it was just perfect timing, and especially seeing that, you know, he got a young quarterback who is very talented, and some would not consider Jaden a young quarterback, but I will. And the fact that he came out his first year and went phenomenal and made it to the NFC Championship. So, man, it's a lot to look forward to if I was Deebo Samuel. And then the fact that, you know, we've been moving a lot of picks around lately, but we still got 6 picks, and we got 3 of them in the first 100. So I feel good about Adam Peters. You know, you see what he did last year. He got us an extra pick, you know, in the what was it? Was it an extra pick or extra 2? But I believe it was an extra pick in the second round, and that's how we were able to get, you know, Ben Sinnott, you know, Jazon Newton, and Mike Sanderstill. Like, bruh, just the players right there did phenomenal. Like, and that's what Adam Peters was able to do. So I'm not scared. I don't care how many picks we have. We could have 1. Adam Peters probably turn it into 7. Like, I'm telling you, that boy is phenomenal. Like, it was his time to shine, and he did phenomenal. In his first year, got us to the NFC Championship. And, of course, you know, it has a lot to do with Dan Quinn and everybody else on the roster. But if we're just talking about, you know, a general manager, bruh, phenomenal. He aced the whole year, bruh. He should have got a general manager award. Like there should have been an award for him. And, man, to get a rookie that far, and, you know, to recalibrate this team in 1 year is crazy. And I really thought this team was not going to get this far, and we got that far. So I have a lot to look forward to, and I think with Deebo here allows Cliff Kingsbury to be, as, you know, to have some more fun on the offense, to do a lot of the things he was trying to do with De'Ami Brown, you know, because when I think of De'Ami, I think of Curtis Samuel. When Curtis Samuel was here, we had him doing a lot. And when I think of Deebo, I think of the same thing. It didn't work with De'Ami, but it will work with Deebo. And you seen last season how when the team had to rely on Deebo at wide receiver solely or majority, it kind of hindered him. So it may work in his favor that he does stay versatile, and, you know, just continue to be placed in certain positions, not just wide receiver, but running back as well, on screens, you know, and everything else, and sweeps, you know, allow us to really, you know, really lock in and really have fun and be able to use certain plays the way we want to. And Deebo a big guy, so he ain't no De'Ami Brown. De'Ami was getting his ass whipped. I mean, every time he went out there, even on good plays, he was getting his ass rocked. But Deebo rocking shit. Like, Deebo's knocking shit out. So I'm excited to see Deebo in a Commanders jersey. So I can't wait. He gonna bring that fight. And I don't even care if he play one game, bro. Like, I don't care what game it is, bro. I know I'm gonna feel like when you see Deebo, bro, you think of a soldier, bro. You think of a juggernaut, bro. Like, bro be out there knocking stuff. So, and this is a wide receiver we're not talking about nobody on defense. We're talking about a wide receiver, bro. So I'm excited to see what he gonna do. And a lot of people are underestimating this trade, but this was a good one. This was a real good one. And of course, we had a great one last season. You know, it wasn't a trade, but, you know, we got Marshawn Lattimore. But Marshawn Lattimore, he wasn't really up to par. I think he had, I'm gonna put it this way. he had that injury playing in his head, and then I felt like that was one of those things that was just keeping him from being the Marshawn Lattimore that we used to see with the Saints. He was so worried about his injuries that he couldn't be his full self. I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe that wasn't it, but from what I see, I felt like that was it, and he wasn't really up to par, seeing that he missed so much time with the injury that it just wasn't allowing him to stay upbeat with all the wide receivers, especially AJ Brown. So we seen him get dogged in both games. He looked like Emmanuel Forbes out there, but I think if we still continue to keep him on the roster, I think if we do, I think he's going to show us something that doesn't look like Benjamin St-Juste or Michael Davis. Hopefully, he shows us something that we are used to, that we want to see, that is the caliber of Marshawn Lattimore. So hopefully this year we re-sign him and, he comes back and he really proves himself and he shows us why we picked him and why we got him in a sweet spot. It was a sweet spot last season. We didn't expect to see him there. He got it. We picked him up. And man, like, just to think about everything Adam Peters did last season, he even got us Noah Brown. And we didn't even think too much of it, but he came in clutch. Even though he didn't make it throughout the whole entire season, he came in clutch, really. And, even when we had a lot of injuries, we had people there that just worked in our favor. So I think this is a real good move by Adam Peters by getting Deebo Samuel. I think he's going to bring a lot to this team. We still got a lot of improvement to do, especially the O-line, especially the cornerbacks, especially wide receivers still. I still feel like there's some things we can do. But we're going to see what happens, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to try to come back and make some more videos for y'all. I know I've been gone for a minute. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And guess what, man? I'm out.